a win, you guys. What a win. It's the next day, but I am still buzzing. Welcome back to another match review. This is Liverpool 0, Chelsea 1, and my God, what an amazing feeling this is, because like every game, I was nervous going into this Liverpool game, but I said they were not in good form going into this game. They had won 1 in their last 5, the other 4 results being losses, only won 3 of their last 12 games, and have only scored 1 goal in their last 5 outings at Anfield. So the stats were in our favor, but we know that Chelsea historically tend to struggle against sides that aren't performing well for whatever reason. But what a game, what a performance. Thomas Tuchel, take a bow. We're gonna get into everything. But before we do that, please, if you like my channel, take a moment to hit that subscribe button, turn on those bell notifications, because I have a lot of content coming. Without further ado, let's get right into it. First off, I just want to say, Thomas Tuchel, what a man, what a manager. Honestly, I'm so thrilled with him since he's been appointed as Chelsea manager. 8 clean sheets in all competitions since he took over, which is just insane because Chelsea were conceding a lot of goals. So he's really shored up that defense, and players who weren't playing well, and we can, I think, understand why they weren't playing under Lampard, like the likes of Rudiger, Christensen, Jorginho, really just look completely transformed under Thomas Tuchel. So it's nice to see that these players are starting to, I don't know, find their best form, because we know that there are great players in there and we weren't seeing that before. So it's really nice to see that. I think Christensen has been amazing since he's come into this back three. I think the back three really suits him as well. So props to Tuchel, props to Christensen for stepping up into Thiago Silva's massive shoes. And also, can we just take a moment to appreciate that Thomas Tuchel is still undefeated as Chelsea manager. He's played the likes of Tottenham, Atletico Madrid, Manchester United, and now Liverpool, and he is still undefeated with 3 wins, the only draw being against Manchester United. So really, really impressive from Tuchel. I'm really liking what I'm seeing. Feel so high, like just so happy right now. So let's get into the match. Beginning of the game, I was very nervous. I'm always really nervous going into games, but especially this one, because we know that there's a good Liverpool side in there, and I felt like it could really come back at any point. And so I wasn't going into this game like we're definitely going to win this. I felt that we should win it given Liverpool's current form, but I did feel like, well, it could really go either way. And the first 10-15 minutes or so really showed that. It was end-to-end stuff. Liverpool had a very effective press, and they were really containing the Chelsea players. So the only play that Chelsea could really do was to try to play a long ball over the top, which we saw Jorginho trying to do to Werner so that he could use his pace to take advantage of the high line that Liverpool were playing. I thought that that was going to be the main opportunity for Chelsea to get a goal in this game. Liverpool were playing really high, and you would think that if they had just sat 5-10 meters back, maybe they could have contained Chelsea a little bit more, but it was a constant threat of Timo Werner running in behind. We saw that he had a couple of opportunities, one which he really could have scored. I think that if he was in better form, he would have scored that goal where he was like sticking his leg out. I think if he takes a touch first and composes himself, he scores that. But maybe in a more confident time. Right now, we can still see him lacking some confidence, which brings me to Timo Werner's goal, which I 100% think should have been a goal. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. He made a 40-meter run, something like this, and it's still considered offside. What advantage are you getting from your armpit being offside by millimeters? It really does not make any sense, especially because you can't score with your arm. You can't. So why are you not looking from your feet? Take the offside position from the feet. But it really is frustrating and annoying me as a football fan to see all of these goals that should be scored and now they're being ruled offside using these lines to just draw up. But that's not what the offside rule is about. The offside rule is not about being offside millimeters by the hair of your armpit. It's just not. It's about making sure that attackers don't have an unfair advantage against defenders by being in front of them when a ball is being played. But that really isn't the case because Timo could not have scored with his arm. So it's just really frustrating that the goal is even being considered for VAR because VAR is only supposed to be used for clear and obvious errors. But we're not seeing that. We're seeing that it's just used for everything. I understand the principle of VAR. I understand why it's being used and I like it. I like the idea of it. But the way that it's being implemented is just completely wrong because you can't even celebrate goals. It's taking the fun out of football because everybody's just waiting for it to inevitably go to a VAR check and see if the goal is going to be allowed or not. So that's my rant on VAR. I was really upset about that. I honestly felt that that should have been allowed as a goal and that they need to change the rules. They need to change them because it's taking the fun out of the game and it just really doesn't make sense. It really does not. So Timo Werner, I think that he should be proud of himself because it was a great goal and hopefully even though it was disallowed that he'll use that to build up some momentum because he scored against Liverpool. He got the ball into the back of the net against Liverpool. So that's massive for him. I think that his performance has been better. He still doesn't look very confident, but I can see glimpses of it. That goal showed me glimpses of it. And I think that that's really important. And hopefully he can continue to build off of that. Getting into these good positions, we saw it with that shot that he just completely fluffed. But I think in another game, he could perfectly score that. So with a little bit more confidence, getting a couple of more goals in, I think that Timo Werner is going to start firing. I think that the system suits him and that he's going to get better. And not for nothing, I feel like he's been really unlucky. I think he's had like 5 or 6 goals disallowed. And if you look at it, like the margin of the offside was just ridiculous. So a handful of those probably should have been allowed in another life. I think he's had like 5 off the crossbar or something. So really he's scoring good goals. He's a bit unlucky. He's unlucky. So hopefully his luck will turn around. Hopefully he won't be offside by a millimeter of his armpit hair and we can see Timo Werner getting back to his best. But I think that we've seen very good signs from him. So at this point in the game, I was livid. I was pissed. I was like, how can you disallow this goal? If Chelsea do not get a result because of that disallowed goal, I'm going to be extremely upset, extremely mad, because I didn't think that it should have been disallowed, and I did think that Chelsea were by far the better team. They had more control, I think. I didn't think that Liverpool really looks like creating, and the defense was just so solid. Every time that a Liverpool player got the ball, Chelsea were able to shut them down, and I've never felt super confident with our defense, but I'm starting to feel more and more confident, especially with this back three. I think that the 3 center backs really works, especially against a very attacking team like Liverpool that's going to try to punish you with any opportunity that you get. There were a couple of opportunities that I think if Mane or Salah were in better form, perhaps they would have finished it. But all in all, I thought that the defensive display was very, very strong. Now I want to talk about that Mason Mount goal. What a goal. I was like, that's literally the sound that I made. And I could not believe it because it was Kante who switched the play, put a beautiful ball into Mason Mount. Kante, another one that I want to talk about. There's this conception of Kante that he can't pass. Well, look at that pass. That was ridiculous. And my God, Mason Mount to finish that. What a goal against Liverpool. And he's been stepping up time and time again for Chelsea. Doesn't matter who the manager is, Mason Mount is the first name on the team sheet. Something that I really like about Mason Mount is just his ability to find space. I think he has really great spatial awareness. And this allows him to get into really dangerous areas in between the line to get the ball, drive it forward, and look at that shot that he's taking. We can tell that he's been working on his shooting. That was an area that I said that he should be working on, and he already has been scoring quite a few goals. And not to mention, he's only 22. So all of the people who are doubting Mason Mount, they have been rightfully silenced. I love what Declan Rice put online that said, if you're hating on Mason Mount, really, you have no reason to anymore, because look at what he's been producing. The match winner for Chelsea is going to be absolutely massive player. I think that he's one of those players that rival teams wish that they had, honestly, because he's just such a good player. He's only 22, only going to get better. I'm really excited for what the future has for Mason Mount. I am so impressed by him. And then one final incident that I wanted to talk about has kind of been glossed over because of the headlines, but was that a handball by Kante? I don't think he was putting his hand up to stop the ball. I think it's just the position of his arms when he's running. You're always going to have like your arms up a little bit to try to balance yourself when you're playing. So I think that you really need to look at whether or not it's intentional. I didn't think that it was intentional, so I'm glad that it wasn't given, but I could completely have seen that given in another game, just because of the rules that they say, oh, it just touches your hand, even it doesn't matter the position, it's not by your side, and they give it as a penalty. So I think that we could have very well may have gotten away with one, but it evened itself out for that goal that was disallowed by Timo. So in the end, I'm okay with it. And finally, I want to talk about my candidates for man of the match. So the first one is, of course, Mason Mount, the match winner. I thought that he was playing really well the entire game, pressing, really the heartbeat of Chelsea. I think that he's an incredible player. I've already talked about him a lot, so I don't want to talk too much about him, but I just thought incredible goal, wins us the game, and he's continually pressing, so much energy, just showing what an incredible player he is, and yet again, one of the contenders for man of the match. The second one, Christensen. I thought that he had a fantastic game. What a defensive display from him. He just pocketed Mane. Honestly, he was so composed under the ball. He had very high percentage of pass accuracy, which isn't easy to do under Liverpool's press. Let's not forget that they're trying to press these players into making mistakes and giving away the ball, but he did really good to keep his composure and try to find players like Azpilicueta, like Rudiger, like Jorginho under pressure as well. I thought that he really contained those absolute potent Liverpool attackers like Mane. So I was very impressed with him, and I think that it's going to be difficult to drop him, but if Thiago Silva is fit, Thiago Silva has to play, and it's kind of harsh, but right now I do think that Thiago Silva is just going to slot back into his spot in that middle of the center back three. But it's really good to see that Christensen is finally becoming the player that many of us thought that he could be. I was getting worried about him. I thought his time was up because I didn't think that he was playing well. I think in the back three, he looks really good. My next player for potential man of the match is N'Golo Kante. Honestly, I thought that he was all over the pitch. Really impressive display from him, and that amazing assist as well. And Tuchel said after the game that we are just so lucky to have a player like N'Golo Kante, who is just so special, and he puts in so much energy, and he's just all the time running, getting the ball back. He was breaking up those Liverpool attacks. I was so impressed with N'Golo. It's really great to see him back to his best. I was a little bit curious about that partnership of Jorginho and Kante, but I thought that they pulled it off brilliantly, and N'Golo Kante, yet again, one of the best players in the match for me. Then my last candidate, really I'm torn between three. I thought that Azpilicueta, Rudiger, and Jorginho all had really good games as well. Timo Werner is another shout, so they're all kind of like on the same level. At this point, when you have such a good team performance, it's really difficult to pick just four players. They all deserve a bit of a shout out. I thought that they were really strong, and to keep a clean sheet against Liverpool is no easy task. I think that also Timo Werner started to look to get back to his best. He did a lot of work. I think that goal really gave us, well, the disallowed goal gave us some momentum. Okay, we can score against this Liverpool side. So I thought that all of those players played really well. I really can't pick just one. So yeah. Overall, my man of the match is between Christensen and Mount, but I gave it to Christensen because what a performance from him, what a defensive display, and I think that he really deserved it in this game. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Sorry for being late. These late kickoffs are really killing me because by the time the game's over, I'm just absolutely exhausted. But I hope that you enjoyed this video. Better late than never. And if you liked it, please drop it a like because honestly it helps me out so much. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, turn on those bell notifications. I really appreciate it. And until next time, I'm out.